Coming up on Cronkite News, a recent study found Arizona's flu vaccination rates are far below average. What you need to know to keep your family safe.
Plus, area organizations that help people who are experiencing homelessness received an influx of federal COVID-19 relief funds. We take a look at how that money is being used for a Housing First approach.
And later on Break It Down, we take a look at the NCAA's policy allowing student athletes to earn money off their names.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Sean DePaz.
And I'm Diana Quintero. Thank you for joining us.
Flu season is right around the corner and vaccines are readily available. But a recent study found that vaccination rates in Arizona are far below average. Cronkite News reporter Rudy Cavazos takes a look at the numbers.
A new report from Wallet Hub says that Arizona is behind most states in a number of different vaccinations, including the flu vaccine. In fact, Arizona ranks at the bottom, 48th in terms of states that vaccinate the most. Taking a look at influenza, for instance, Arizona ranked 45th for coverage among adults and 41st for coverage amongst children ages 6 months to 17. Even looking at tetanus vaccinations, Arizona was still low ranking, 40th among coverage among adults. Overall, it appears that Arizonans are hesitant when it comes to vaccinations, and that could be a problem as we enter the flu season. The flu season is approaching. Although COVID-19 is ongoing, Mayo Clinic Dr. Priya Sampathkumar is urging everyone to get the flu vaccine in addition to the COVID-19 vaccine.
This year, more people are at risk, and so it makes it doubly important that we all get vaccinated against influenza.
Anyone over the age of 6 months can get the flu vaccine. Experts say that since children under 12 can't receive the COVID-19 vaccine, it is important that they are protected against other viruses. And Dr. Sampathkumar points out there are no known shortages for the flu vaccine.
There are multiple different types of formulations of the flu vaccine, and again, there should be plenty of supplies.
Although a recent Wallet Hub study ranked Arizona low for influenza vaccinations among adults, Dr. Sampathkumar says that increasing community accessibility could bring those rates up.
Having drop-in places where you can get it, having it available in grocery stores.
Experts suggest another way to bring up vaccination rates is to have sites available at public education facilities. A number of school districts have been hosting COVID-19 vaccinations, and these may be locations for flu vaccination sites in the future. At the Google touchscreen, Rudy Cavazos, Cronkite News.
Government relief funds temporarily moved millions of Americans out of poverty, but the poverty rate still slightly increased. The Census Bureau reports that poverty measure increased by 1 percentage point in 2020. More than 37 million Americans are still living in poverty despite stimulus payments and government aid. This was the first increase in poverty after 5 years of decline. More than $27 million in emergency COVID-19 relief funds are being used to help some of the area's most vulnerable populations. Cronkite News reporter Balin Overstolz-McNair tells us how the money is helping not only individuals, but also changing how the region combats homelessness.
Really, everything is on fire. Yeah. So I'm trying to get those.
Samantha Bedford became homeless in 2019, facing threats of eviction and disagreements with her landlord when she was injured and unable to work.
It was no payment arrangements. You have it all, including late fees, or else here comes another eviction, which is more fees. And it's really ridiculous to have to live that way. So I said, forget it. And my kids and I, we were homeless.
Nonprofit organizations like Homeward Bound gave Samantha and her family a home and a new start. These programs help the region put people in homes.
We've been working alongside with municipalities on hotels, temporary shelter, providing hotels and supportive services to individuals, getting them off the street. So actually, it has provided us an opportunity to think about ways to serve people that we historically have not.
Nikki Stevens, who works in the county, explains a large sum of emergency COVID-19 aid is helping fight homelessness.
Actually, the influx of federal money has allowed us to think, again, outside the box, thinking of ways that we can serve people in in different areas.
Homelessness in the area is growing at one of the fastest rates in the country as wages fall behind rent prices. Stevens says that is their biggest challenge, and more people are at risk as eviction protections end. Now Samantha Bedford is currently focused on going back to school and says she can't thank the caseworkers at Homeward Bound enough. In Phoenix, Bowen Overstills McNair, Cronkite News.
Money from federal COVID-19 relief is also being used to create new homeless shelters in areas outside of the valley in downtown Phoenix.
Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich announced today that his office is suing members of the Biden administration over vaccine mandates. Last week, President Biden issued an executive order requiring federal employees, federal contractors, and certain healthcare workers to get vaccinated. They must do so by November 22nd. The Republican Attorney General is arguing that this vaccine mandate is, quote, one of the greatest infringements on individual liberties, principles of federalism, and separation of powers ever attempted by an American president. As such, Brnovich has filed a complaint for declaratory relief. This means they are not suing for any damages or disciplinary action, but rather for the court to determine whether the mandate is a violation of legal rights.
The Biden administration is unconstitutionally trying to mandate vaccines that may affect hundreds of millions of Americans. It's not only wrong, it's unconstitutional. And as we've done on the border crisis, as we push back against federal overreach and their tax and spend policies, we will continue to hold the Biden administration accountable and try to stop this federal overreach, because we need to protect not only Arizona, but the entire United States.
Brnovich is also claiming that the executive order discriminates against Americans, since the Biden administration allows migrants to decline the vaccine.
Coming up after the break, grants to bring theater back. How the federal government is helping music and performing arts venues across Arizona reopen their doors.
What President Biden's disaster declaration about monsoon flooding means for Arizona.
Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream. For the first time ever, our most popular programs have been selected just for you.
But there's so much more.
Whether you like to travel,
wow,
feast,
and calories don't count.
Look back,
That is me.
discover.
You know the whole story.
There's something for everyone.
Let's get to it right away.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
I was so excited when I learned that I was going to be the next moderator of Washington Week. I was incredibly lucky to be mentored by Gwen Ifill, and what that gave to me was this confidence that I could be my full self and that I was deserving of whatever spaces I was in.
Welcome to Washington Week.
I also feel this great joy in taking the helm of Washington Week, knowing that I can mold it and make it my own, but also make sure that it is still within the legacy and the tradition that made it so great for all of these years.
It's probably been a while since you heard live music or watched a play or even a dance recital in person. During the pandemic, performing arts venues were some of the hardest hit businesses. Brenda Rivas reports the federal government is stepping in to help with millions of dollars in grants to support entertainment and music industry businesses.
Dozens of businesses across the state are receiving grants, some as large as $1.5 million, others $20,000. But the businesses we talk to say that every bit helps to keep the curtains open. Empty seats in shuttered venues were the norm for most performing arts venues this past year.
It was extremely stressful, just wondering, if my business would survive.
Matthew Ziegler is co-owner of Hullabaloo Festivals and owner of Greenhouse Productions, a concert promotion business. Both these businesses received shuttered venue operators grants from the government. He says he's elated that these grants came through when they did.
I know a lot of other businesses that had really difficult times getting through it, but not being able to be open at all, not have any income for that whole time, it was a tremendous amount of stress.
The FLAGSTAFF Symphony Orchestra also received grant money and is making music live again after months of silence.
We lost so much of our income, so we really needed a boost to get through that difficult period.
Nearly 80% of ticket sales plummeted during the height of COVID, which is the primary source for many of these small live music venues. Representative Tom O'Halloran says his district alone received over $4.7 million to support small businesses like these.
And already all this has been going through the grant process and out into the area where it's needed by people.
The recipients say they are overwhelmed by the amount of support they have received, not only from this grant, but also from their community as a whole.
Really thankful to get back in business.
It's helped us to kick off this new season, really, and go back to live performances.
The FLAGSTAFF Symphony is prepping for their show later this month, and the Hullabaloo Festival is already in the works for next year. In the newsroom, Brenda Rivas, Cronkite News.
President Biden approved Arizona's request to declare a major disaster over monsoon flooding in July. The move allows Arizona to get emergency federal funds, which can be used for urgent work and repair of flood-damaged facilities. The president also ordered federal assistance to supplement state, tribal, and local recovery efforts in areas affected by severe storms and floodwaters. Apache, Coconino, and Navajo counties were among the hardest hit parts of the state during the July storms. As monsoon season is approaching its end, Arizona is seeing some above-average high temperatures. Nick Shesky is in the Weather Center with details.
We're about a week away from fall, so let's take a look at our temperatures all across the continental U.S. You see some cooler temperatures up in Minneapolis or Seattle with 76 and 64 respectively as we kind of creep out of the summer and into the fall season, even all the way down to 69 over in Los Angeles. Now, slightly east of Los Angeles, it's a different picture. Here in Phoenix, we've got 106 degrees, and all over southwest Arizona, it's going to be well over 100 degrees. Now, looking at our evening planner, right now it's about 103 degrees, and it's going to cool off actually kind of drastically as we head into the night. It's going to be all the way down to 94, which is 9 degrees cooler than right now at about 10 p.m., and it's only going to get cooler from there. Now, looking at our 8-day forecast, as we look at the next couple days, it's going to be right around this high single-digit 100s at 106, 106. But then after that, it's going to actually cool down just a little bit and dance all the way around to 100 until we hit 100 perfectly here on Tuesday. So it's kind of something to look forward to, these cooler temperatures the next few days. In the Weather Center, Nick Shesky, Cronkite News.
I'm Cam Dyer. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. Glendale native Michael McDowell's unbelievable story from jumping around team to team to a spot in the NASCAR playoffs.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Millions of people die every year from drinking dirty water. I would never have felt I had the ability to do something without ASU pushing me. We built filtration systems out of local materials with the people. To see those kids drink clean water for the first time, it's the most rewarding feeling that you can ever have. I went to ASU because I wanted to change the world. The thing I never would have expected is how the world would have changed me.
Welcome back. I'm Cam Dyer with your Cronkite Sports Report. Sports gambling kicked off here in Arizona last Thursday, and according to some new data, bettors did not disappoint. Tech company GeoComply tracked more than 58 million transactions across 18 states last Thursday, and Arizona ranked among the top states in activity. Arizona bettors wagered online at the FanDuel Sportsbook more than bettors in other states, such as Michigan, Colorado, and Tennessee. Kyler Murray had 5 touchdowns in the Cardinals' season-opening win over Tennessee. The QB even garnered the attention of LeBron James, who tweeted about his performance. Coach Cliff Kingsbury also liked what he saw in his dynamic quarterback.
I've said it all along. I mean, he's just taken ownership of this team. He knows it's his team, and he knows we're going to go as far as he takes us, and he's embraced that and worked hard at it, and he'll continue to do so.
The 2021 NASCAR playoff season is underway. 2 races in the round of 16 are already in the books. One Glendale native is hoping to speed through to the next round. Cronkite News reporter Ashlyn Register has more on how the NASCAR driver prepared for his playoffs debut.
It was a Cinderella story for Front Row Motorsport driver and Arizona native Michael McDowell winning the 2021 Daytona 500. This was his first career Cup Series win in his 11th season start, securing a playoff spot after the first race of the season.
You know, there's always that chance that there's more than 16 winners, so I didn't really feel locked in. I never really allowed myself to get super excited about that until, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
McDowell has been with multiple teams over the years, including Levine Family Racing, and is now in his 4th year with Front Row Motorsports. It has been an uphill battle for McDowell over the years.
It would have been very easy to give up several years ago, but by staying faithful to what I feel like I was supposed to do, now I'm getting to enjoy something awesome.
With no super speedway tracks in the first 3 races of the NASCAR playoffs, colleague and Arizona native Alex Bowman knows that McDowell will be a force to be reckoned with if he advances to the next round with Talladega in the lineup.
He's probably one of the best speedway drivers in the series right now. It's cool to see him have success there.
Statistically, McDowell's season might not look like anything special, but he thinks it's his best so far.
I feel like we have the speed and the momentum to surprise some people in the playoffs. I mean, I have to have 3 incredible races.
McDowell will have one last chance in the round of 16 to compete to keep his playoff hopes alive. In Avondale, Ashlyn Register, Cronkite News.
McDowell currently sits in last place. He will need to take the checker flag at Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend to advance into the round of 12. That does it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Sean and Diana.
That's it for Cronkite News Tonight.
Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.